Hey, 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 happy day. Are you out like a light or tossing and turning all night since COVID-19 started? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And our idiom today, what does it mean? Where did it come from? And how might you use it in your life right now? Is out like a light today. Out like a light, of course, means to fall fast asleep or to be somehow suddenly unconscious. I think of the times I went into surgery and you think it's gonna be so hard to fall asleep because there's so much strange going on around you, and then you count and 199 by 98. I don't think I ever even consciously recall getting to 97. The anesthetic kicks in so quickly and you're out like a light, and thank goodness, because it's not fun to be awake for surgery. I've been awake for surgery too, and that I will tell you, I much prefer being asleep for surgery than awake for surgery. I had surgery on my eyes when I was pregnant with my son, and it was not very fun hearing the cutting and stuff. So, out like a light. My question for you today, well, let's talk about where this expression comes from. It, of course, is a pretty modern expression. It's from 20th century America, when electricity spread across the country and turning on a light or off a light was as simple as flipping a switch. It just caught on that people would say, hey, you're out like a light, because it was such a quick, fast, easy change. So if you could fall asleep quickly, you were out like a light. If you tossed and turned all night, which was a very popular song, don't even ask me what decade it was from, but I do remember hearing it, tossing and turning all night, because over the years, I recall tossing and turning all night through my different businesses, through my different experiences throughout my life, and through different things that were going on in our lives. Some nights, there's things that keep us up at night. There's things that keep us awake. And I'm curious, how are you sleeping since COVID-19? Are you tossing and turning? Are you stressed out and worried about something? If so, what is that? Share in the comments below so that we can help one another out with the things that are keeping us up at night, that are keeping us awake at night. Often change happens really, really quickly, right? And we're not prepared for that change. I would challenge each and every one of us, and you and me in particular, to think about times in our life in the past where we've been hit upside the head, sort of like COVID-19, with a change that happened so quickly we weren't prepared for it. I've lost jobs that I wasn't prepared to lose, that I didn't know it was coming. I've been involved in relationships that ended, then I didn't really know that it was coming. I wasn't prepared for it. Now then you got to ask yourself, well, how conscious and aware are you? Well, you know what? That's something that we acquire with age and maturity and experience, and we get better and better at it. But it doesn't mean I didn't have that experience in order to teach me that lesson in the first place. So I like to think back to times in the past where I have had to face sudden change and sudden challenges, and what I did about it. And by calling on what we did that worked successfully to get us out of those situations, we can apply that to this situation. No matter what's going on in our lives right now, chances are we've overcome something in our past. And if we call upon the strength that we used, and the intelligence and the creativity that we used to overcome that challenge, whatever we're facing right now, we'll be able to overcome as well. How we respond to things is way more important than the things that actually happen to us throughout our lives. The older you get, the more practice you get with that one too. So how do you want to respond to what's going on around you? Do you want it to keep you up at night so that you don't have the energy that you need to get through the days and do the things that you need to do? I don't want to, so I've come up with some strategies that help me make sure that I always get to sleep and that I get a good night's sleep. I almost feel guilty to say that I have not had a sleepless night since COVID-19 and since the changes in the last month and a half or 2 months. But I've had a sleepless night in a really long time, except with the exception of the flu I had over Christmas holiday. I had a really bad flu, and I tossed and turned all night. But that was because I was sick. I was literally sick, physically sick. Otherwise, I tend to sleep really, really well. And this isn't really about that, our businesses and what, maybe it is though. Maybe that is what we should be talking about when it's out like a light, and what strategies we can use to get some sleep. Let's go that way. I wasn't going to go that direction, but let's go that way. What are you doing to ensure that you get a good night's sleep? What are you doing during the day or right before you go to bed to make sure that you have a good night's sleep? Share those things in the comments below. I do a couple of things. I plan ahead, so I plan the night before what I'm going to be doing the next day. I also do on Sunday, I do a bigger idea of what my week's going to look like. What is my week going to look like? How's it going to unfold? And then each night before I go to bed, I make sure I plan out and I know what I'm going to do and what my big number one thing. I don't do 40 priorities or 50 priorities anymore. I have 1 to 3 things that I know I have to accomplish the next day, and I set them as in priority order, and then I go to sleep. And before I go to sleep, I always think of the things that went well during the day, the things that made me smile, the things that make me feel good or happy or positive in any way, and then the things that I'm grateful for. Just a few, 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for, and they just pop into your head really fast once you get in the habit of it. But that makes it so that I drift off to sleep. I used to have to trick myself when I was having super stressed out times in my life, and I discovered, I don't remember how I even came across it, a meditation CD that was really, really good. And I joked that I never ever heard more than 5 minutes of that meditation CD because I would fall asleep so quickly. And that helped to train me to fall asleep when I was really stressed out and my mind was having that monkey mind and going around and around in circles because there was some crazy thing going on in one of my businesses or other. So find things that help you and work for you. And maybe gratitude won't work for you, but I've yet to find a person that it doesn't work for. Maybe the meditations won't work for you. But again, everybody I've recommended it to, including my kids. I went to wake my son up today because he's hanging out with me while my daughter's out in Colorado, and I heard him listening to a meditation, and it just kind of made me smile because I love it when you know that people have adopted strategies that you've shared with them. The other thing that this Out Like a Light reminds me of and reminds me to do is to turn on the light for other people. Be a beacon of hope. And as business owners, it's our responsibility and our duty to continue to serve and help people solve problems and to set the example and be that beacon of light for them in the darkness. Turn on the light, show them the way, help them to navigate these waters because it is new for everyone. But if you've been through something similar before, or if there are ways you can help and serve people, it's actually our duty to be going out and doing that and to help the economy and the country and the world to recover. That's it. Have an absolutely amazing, awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you apply it to your life, your business, your situation right now? Take care. Have an awesome day. I will be with you tomorrow. Bye.